4.5-point favorites is what the line was this morning. It's now moved to 5 for the Colts at home for this one. And we'll get another good look at Richardson here. The total was 38. It's dropped to 37.5. Emory, do you like the home team in this spot, or are you taking the Bears with plus money?
I love the home team in this spot. The Bears offense couldn't really get it going with their reserve quarterbacks last weekend, so I'm going to lay the points with the Colts. But again, think in terms of money line. But keep an eye on Tommy Adebawore, the rookie defensive lineman for Indianapolis, a guy that can play across the front. And on the opposite side for Chicago, excited to see Braylon Trahan from the University of Louisiana, had an interception last week. And also DeMarcus Gates, who was one of the top-tier pass rushers 2 years ago in the USFL. And he's a reserve now with the Bears. Excited to see those three guys in today's game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points here, guys. It's not one of my premier plays of the weekend, but I do lean to the Bears here. Eberflus has tended to play these games like he thinks they matter. I guess they probably do for him. I think the second half of this thing could be a pretty tough watch all the way around. I'm not buying the depth with either of these rosters. To me, it kind of comes down to a coin flip, and especially with that line movement, I'm taking the points.
Bears have won 5 straight preseason games here, so I mean, obviously it does mean something to Matt Eberflus to make it 6 here. All right, let's talk about the hottest quarterback battle in all of the training camps. Tampa Bay sends Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask out against Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Gangrene obliterated Carolina last week, 27-0. Home side here sitting at 3-point favorites. That line has dropped a little bit, and you see the total there. Who do you like in this spot, Emory?
I like the Jets here. I'm going to lay the points with the Jets. I feel like when you look at their defense, they're playing with an attitude. They expect to go out there and dominate, and I think that's going to be the story. But offensively, keep an eye on Brent Lane, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Minnesota Duluth, interior offensive lineman, can also play any one of the 3 interior spots. And on the other side, Keenan Isaac is a cornerback out of Alabama State, was a tremendous player, not only for Alabama State, but I was at the NFLPA Bowl this past January. He was a star all throughout the week. Excited to see him get out there. And Sean Tucker, the rookie running back out of Syracuse, had a nice debut last weekend for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I don't have a play in this game. I'm most interested in what does this Jets offensive line look like. I'm fading the Jets a bunch of different ways. When I watched Aaron Rodgers come out there and start moaning and complaining and moping around about his offensive line the first time adversity hit in a scrimmage, boy, that made me lick my chops. That made me think about doubling down on Jets to miss the playoffs, doubling down on Jets under their win total. I'm even into Jets under a secondary win total of 7.5. So I don't know what he thought he was getting. I don't know if he thought he was a package deal with Bakhtiari. I don't know if he thought Dwayne Brown was going to jump in a DeLorean and go back 10 years or 12 years. I don't know if he thought Mekhi Becton was going to be a thing, but they are who they are up front. I don't think he'll like it a whole much, even if he's just standing there watching Stifler get beat up. I want to sit and watch this one. Let's watch Hard Knocks and see what that building's like, and if everybody's just kowtowing to number 8, who's never won a game for them in his life. And then I may double down on some of my Jets fades.
Yeah, very interesting Hard Knocks last week, because it all is the first episode and a half, a love fest regarding Rodgers, and all of a sudden they start to talk about the O-line, and things start to turn a little bit. Also want to mention Todd Bowles against his former team here. Aaron Rodgers, again, not expected to be part of this one. Well, Rodgers' former team is where we go next. Green Bay welcoming the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick's team looking to avoid a 3rd straight preseason loss for the first time since 2012. They are road dogs here. Jordan Love looked sharp last week in limited duty. What are you expecting to see here, Emory?
I am fascinated by the Packers' backup quarterback situation now. Sean Clifford played a solid game last weekend against the Bengals, but I'm all in on Alex Magoo, USFL MVP, 2-time USFL champion. I expected him to do a lot of damage in this ball game on the back end. And keep an eye out for the New England Patriots. They have 2 guys that I really like. Jonathan Lumpkin, the tight end from the University of Louisiana. Excellent blocking tight end for the Raging Cajuns, but showed at the All-Star game that he can catch the football. And City So, interior offensive lineman, played tackle at Eastern Michigan, but also can play on the interior. This is someone that was also a CFL draft pick. Excited to see how he does in this ball game today.
I really like the Green Bay Packers here. They were one of my favorite plays the last weekend. If you saw me on Sportsline or the Pick 6 podcast, I love them to run it up and cover on the Bengals. They did. Look, LaFleur's trying to prove he can win games without number 8 around there anymore doing his own research. This Jordan Love thing has to work. This is another sort of home unveiling of him. I don't like the Patriots roster all that much. Bill Belichick, the GM, has done Bill Belichick, the head coach, no favors. They don't have twitch. They don't have speed. They don't have acceleration with their starters, so forget about it with their backups. I liked a lot of what I saw Bailey Zappi in the past. Not so much last week with the group of guys that he was performing with. I don't think this is a game where Green Bay takes their foot off the gas. Kid Clifford looked pretty interesting last week. I have to think Jordan Love plays a little bit here. Just remember how long Jordan Love's been in that system. He's not really a young quarterback. He's certainly not a novice, not when it comes to these August football games. I think it's a mismatch. I think the Packers are trying to put on a show for their fans. And I think this coach, despite being a coach of the year and everything else, probably thinks of this game a little more than you might expect he would. I think Green Bay runs away with this one.
Pack beat the Bengals 36-19 last week, their first preseason road win since 2017. Glendale, Arizona welcomes the Super Bowl champion Chiefs to face the Cardinals, two teams expected to have very different seasons here. Every game but 2 on the Week 2 schedule has lines that are less than a touchdown. This is one of those 2. Chiefs are favored by 7.5 here, JLC, and I mean, that seems right.
Yeah, I'm taking the points. I like the Cardinals here. Again, I get it. Patrick Mahomes is going to play some. But, it's Patrick Mahomes against the worst teams in the league, and it's not even their necessarily ones. I don't know how much Andy Reid needs to see of that. I do know that this is the Arizona Cardinals Super Bowl. I know that, frankly, they want to lose regular season games so they can be in position to draft Caleb Williams. But if you're a rookie head coach and you could beat Andy Reid in the postseason, in the preseason, and you could sell some semblance of hope for a franchise that is the odds-on favorite to lose the most games in the NFL, I think you go out and do it. I think we saw some of this with them last week. I think they absolutely, in the second half, will be calling plays, will be scripting some things to try to score some points, to try to sell some hope. And I just don't know what Andy Reid, you look at risk reward here, and I get it. He has a certain way he goes about doing things. But is Patrick Mahomes going to build up a 20-point lead? You know what I mean? A 17-point lead in 4 drives or whatever he plays? I mean, maybe. But even so, all I got to do is, outscore him by 10 in the second half, and I'm still making my money, if it's 17-0 or whatever at the half. So that's just too many points in a preseason game. For me, give me the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to lay the points, take the gamble with the Kansas City Chiefs here. I like what I saw last week from both Shane Buechele and Chris Oladokun, the reserve quarterbacks, against a very good and deep New Orleans defense. Now, the Cardinals defense is really good. In my opinion, I think they win over 4.5 games this year. I think they get 5, so they'll barely cross it. But I like the defensive depth for Arizona, which puts the spotlight on Lucas Niang, the tackle for Kansas City. Has to have a better game this weekend. For the Cardinals in the secondary, rookie Keitrell Clark out of Louisville was excellent at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Excited to see him get out there and compete today against a very good, talented group of receivers in Kansas City.
Cardinals looking to upset the odds here and hand the Chiefs their 3rd straight preseason road loss. Russell Wilson and the Broncos are taking on the Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and the 49ers as those two continue to compete for the number 2 quarterback job. Denver comes in as a 4-point road favorites. Emory, how are you playing it?
I'm taking the 49ers and the points here. I like the defensive depth, and I've talked about this before with JLC. When you have a competing quarterback battle going on, you're going to get sustained quarterback play throughout the course of the game, albeit better than what we saw from Trey Lance last week. I think he has to have a better game on the back end of the roster. So I like Trey Lance to have a bounce-back game. But for the Broncos, keep an eye on rookie Taylor Grimes out of Incarnate Word. When I was at the NFL PA Bowl, this guy was legit baking these cornerbacks. He's an outstanding wide receiver. He should get a lot of run later on in the game.
Yeah, this game for me is just all about Trey Lance. How what is Kyle Shanahan doing here? They're really hyping up Sam Darnold lately. What does that look like? What does Trey Lance look like? I don't have a play on the game. I don't have any of my money on this game. But I'm also probably not as bullish on San Francisco as some other people right now. So I'm more, for what it's worth. And again, it's a preseason game. I want to look at their quarterbacks. And I personally am not sold on Brock Purdy as someone who they're going to win a Super Bowl with. And let's be real. This isn't about a kid coming in and just, not peeing down his leg and not looking like he's completely overwhelmed. And every time he completes a 7-yard pass, it's like awesome. It's a little different this year. He's been there for a minute. He's declared the starter, and they are in Super Bowl or bust mode. So, yeah, I'm going to watch their quarterbacks, and I'll continue to look at some of those 49ers win total props.
Always a phenomenal wordsmith. Jason Canfora from Sportsline. Emory Hunt here breaking down some of the key preseason games to come on Saturday. As mentioned, 11 games on the slate today alone. So let's recap some picks here in terms of what Emory likes for these games. He likes the Colts and the points as they take on the Bears. In terms of the Bucs and Jets, he's taking the Jets. He likes the Packers over the Patriots. Their pack at home. Chiefs big favorites against the Cardinals. He'll take the points with the Chiefs. And in terms of the Broncos and 49ers, he likes the 49ers to pull one over on Denver.